and welcome to Charts and Hearts. I'm Sarah, and she's Lindsay.
And together, we are working our way through an epic list of rom-coms in order to find and categorize tropes in the hopes of creating the nerdiest spreadsheet podcasts have ever seen. Today, we are talking about Dirty Dancing. So before we start, this is our first episode of our new podcast. We're very excited about it, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So we are Lindsay and Sarah. I'm Lindsay. She's Sarah. We had a podcast, if you might know, if we're a subscriber and are just following along in our podcast feed. It was Nature Finds a Way, which was about pop culture, science and pop culture, because we are giant science nerds, but we're also rom-com nerds.
Big fans of rom-coms.
Big fans of rom-coms.
Yeah.
Straight, white, elder millennial women.
Yeah.
So
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we wanted to take I guess a humorous analytical approach, maybe?
Yeah.
Does that seem like us? Yeah. Yeah, so categorizing all of these rom-coms, what do they have in common? What aspects do they share? What makes them so classic and so terribly good? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Or also completely unironically great. In
definitely.
some cases. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of thoughts and plans. We've got a big spreadsheet, and we're about to start another new spreadsheet as we get into this episode. And so that's really exciting to us because we're nerds.
Yes, yeah. This podcast is definitely brought to you by spreadsheets. Yeah, and yeah, I'm sure we will share portions of them with you as appropriate in the future.
Yeah, definitely. But we're really excited for this new adventure, and we hope you are too, and we hope that you enjoy our takes on probably some movies that you've heard other podcasts cover in the last little while, because we're definitely starting with some popular movies.
Indeed, yeah, indeed. We're not doing anything too niche, at least to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah, we when we were talking about a classic rom-com that you know and love, what else could we do being 90s kids other than Dirty Dancing? Yep.
Oh goodness,
so
this movie gave me some feelings.
So many feelings
for noon on a Wednesday.
Yep. Yeah, so this movie came out in 1987. We definitely, neither of us would have watched it then, but I think we also both watched it looking back when we were too young for the mature content of this movie.
Yes, definitely. We had the VHS, and even the cover of the VHS was scandalous. I know. I think it was just the back had a picture of the group dances or something, and you're like,
yeah. Anyways,
also the name was scandalous.
Yeah, totally. But also it's not that dirty watching it now. The dancing, I mean, is not the dancing when by the time we watched it was nothing. It was way more tame than anything you saw on MTV or Much Music, because we're in Canada.
Yeah.
And or at a school dance.
Yep.
Yeah. So Yep, it was great. One great observation. So it came out in 1987. It takes place in the summer of 1963. And if you want to feel old, that's like having a movie that takes place in 1998 coming out right now.
Oh my god.
So yeah, you think the 60s are so long ago, but compared to the 80s, they're not that long.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very beginning when she's like, it's 1963. It was before Kennedy got shot. It was before the Beatles. So we could be like, it was before 9/11.
9/11 and
before No Strings Attached came out.
Yeah, I don't even know what would there's nothing that's equivalent to the Beatles. That's kind of the whole point of the Beatles.
But it was it was before Bye Bye Bye.
Yeah.
And...
yeah, I don't even know.
I don't even all the stuff that came out.
So many boy bands.
So many things. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what you would say.
Indeed.
If you were flashing back to 1998.
Indeed. And also because because our podcast is starting in the summer, we thought we would start with sort of a summer-themed movie. So, yeah, one thing we're going to try to do, I think, during the podcast is, comparing different movies across different genres. So like we'll try to group episodes together based on some sort of theme or setting or actors or who knows what. We've got a whole list.
Yeah.
We're big into
So
categorizing stuff.
We are. It's not going to be like comparison like who did Summer Cabin's country club movies best, but more just like that's what we're doing this month.
Yeah, and also like this example of like a summer cabin, summer fling movie has these tropes. Another one that also takes place in like a similar setting. What does it have in common? Like, yeah, we're not really into like saying which one's better or not because that doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah,
we will jokingly
just thinking about
the
next summer country club movie that we're gonna do is very different.
Very different. But like. Just because like you can't, it's like comparing apples and oranges in a lot of cases.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which you'll hear about next episode. Also, we're definitely gonna have spoilers. If it's a new movie, we'll try to be like a little more coy, but for like something like Dirty Dancing, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't watched Dirty Dancing, I'm confused.
You're doing this in the wrong order.
Yeah, I'm confused. Like, how did you find us? Please let us know.
Yeah.
So I always thought, like, the whole time watching this, that I thought these, like, big summer camps were, like, super old-fashioned or just, like, a fake thing that happened for, like, TV and movies. Like, the other example that I remember is, like, the Saved by the Bell, like, when they went to that, like, summer club thing, right?
Yeah, they worked there for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I just, like, I did not think that they were a real thing. But then... like, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, I went to a professional development, like, training course in a super random part of West Virginia, and it was the winter, but it was basically this. Like, it was little cabins, a massive, like, hotel / meeting room / whatever. I don't know if there was a lake for swimming. I'm assuming there was, but there was, like, 4 feet of snow, so I don't know what else was there. But it was, like, the interior of where they stay for this camp or for this, like, summer holiday was basically the same concept as where we had this Prody thing. It was so weird.
That's weird because when I was watching, especially at the beginning when she's doing like when she's going to that horrible like magic show and stuff, I was like, this is basically I think what cruises are now.
Yeah,
so
basically,
like, is that why these exist less because they just put them all on a boat? I guess so,
yeah. And the fact that it's like the whole family, like obviously like I went to summer like sleepaway camp, which is so different than this because this is like the whole family and way more like high end. It's not camping or roughing it. Like
no, not at all.
Yeah, I mean it's roughing it compared to like a fancy hotel, but yeah, there's so many activities. Yeah, very much like cruise ship style activities. Yeah, so strange. But yeah, they do it seems like more of an East Coast thing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff. But we'll go as we go on in romcoms. There's a lot of East Coast things that are just
that just don't exist
never
here.
Came over
we're for context, we're in Canada in Vancouver, so like there's too many rocks and mountains for like a giant cabiny thing like this. There's
and we do like I don't know when cruises started. I have no idea. I've never actually thought about it before.
Couldn't tell you.
But
yeah, there's
well, I guess like if you think about Love Boat.
Yeah.
So they've been around longer than you would think.
Yeah, and like even like cruises come through Vancouver and they have for 30 plus years.
So why would you go to a cabin when you could do all of this stuff on a boat?
Indeed.
And get Norwalk as well as COVID.
And COVID.
So
good times.
It's just so
good
fun.
Times.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, should we talk about there's so many tropes and cliches in this movie.
There's so many tropes, but yeah, so let's get started. We don't have our spreadsheet yet. We're going to start with these ones.
The spreadsheet's empty, baby.
Yep.
Let's fill it in.
So the biggest ones are, dancing.
Yep. I mean, is that like a cliche or?
I don't, like, it's not a cliche, so
like a theme.
Like, montage-orama is what you put in here.
So many montages.
So many montages in this movie.
And it's, a summer fling movie.
Yeah, and big dance number at the end, which is also like a big thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, culminating in a big dance number. Definitely, like, a loss of innocence or coming-of-age story. Even though, like, she's about to be starting college, which I guess, like, there are lots of like coming of age movies that happen at that point because it is such like a transition part of your life. And then also unrelated to the romance storyline, but there are other themes like the siblings who are complete opposites and like in conflict, and also the whole like daddy's girl who like grows up and has to like reestablish her relationship with her dad as an adult.
Definitely. Yeah, and it's interesting, like, over, like, her relationship with Lisa and how people treat both of them are different, because, like, she and her dad both, especially at the beginning, mock Lisa constantly, which is rude. But then she also definitely feels overshadowed by Lisa for lots of different aspects of their personality, and, like, she doesn't know how to, like, definitely isn't into her feminine side until she starts dancing.
Yeah. Like she doesn't treat her sister's interests as serious or like understandable. Like she feels like she has more serious interests, like joining the Peace Corps, whereas her sister wants to be like an interior decorator.
Yeah. But on the other hand, like her dad's like, oh, we want the best match for Lisa, and she's gonna like marry this fancy waiter who's gonna be a doctor, and then they're like, oh well, baby, you can hang out with this douchey, nerdy hotel guy.
Yeah, like, and it's also so much a sign of the times of like, I want you to marry well, not do your own thing well.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think Baby, more so than her sister, has ambitions that have nothing to do with getting married, and her sister probably does too. She's just not the main character of the movie, so we don't know.
Yeah, it would be an interesting, like, I don't know, fanfic. I'm sure
I'm sure there's
of her story.
Yeah, like what does her sister actually want?
And like, how much does she actually get assaulted by Robbie when they're in the woods? Like, you know, like what? Yeah, she's definitely like pulling up her cardigan, but so it's hard to tell about
how far they
her
went.
level of experience, because like, I don't know.
Is she
whatever
old?
The time
she's
frame
older,
is.
Right?
She's older, yeah. But like, whatever the time frame is, 2 weeks later, she's like, I'm gonna have sex with Robbie. So she's definitely not Bridgerton level of sexuality knowledge. Like, it's one of those weird things. So
yeah, no, it's true. Like, it seems like she, I don't think, had sex before, but it's hard to know.
No, I don't think that she had. But like, if she's just like pulling up her cardigan, it's not like he just like tried to touch her boob and she freaked out. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, like she was into the under the shirt, but not anything more than that or something.
Yeah, maybe
in the woods.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's like, Lisa is like a really interesting character, who just doesn't really get a lot of time because it's not her movie.
It's not her story.
Oh, and then I guess the other, like, on the subject of the main storyline is like romance across a class divide, or like I hate the word, but like when they talk about like slumming.
Yeah.
Or like that class divide, the bad boy, like good girl, bad boy thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which, like, when you dig deeper, it's not actually true, but yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as we go to see how often bad boy and class divide are separated, because I feel like they go hand in hand a lot.
Yeah. Like the bad boy.
The only one I can I guess West Side Story isn't class divide; it's more race divide.
Yeah, it's definitely race rather than class.
Not a like rom-com either.
No.
So
undecided if we'll be covering stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's, I think, Pretty in Pink.
Yep.
But in that case, isn't. Oh no, yeah, like the other side of the train tracks. But then I think I'm sure there's also some other like bad boy ones where they're like, it's like a rich bad boy. But again, it's like class divide.
I just can't think of any right now.
She's all that.
He's a bad boy. Yeah, he's a rich. Well, he's not a bad boy. That's the whole point.
No, I know. Yeah, I don't know. But again, this is why we're doing the podcast. Like, what other bad boy class divide movies are there? So many. But don't worry, we know. Yeah, and then Keeping Big Secrets. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely big.
Yeah. Oh man, it's just it was so good. I definitely could have done the podcast without rewatching it, because I have seen it so many times. But I'm so glad I did, because it's just very delightful.
And I haven't watched it in so long.
So long. Yeah.
I do remember when we were young and we went to movies in the park. Mm-hmm. So like when we were young, like 10 years ago.
Yeah, like in our mid-20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when this one was on. I don't know if you were there. I just have this memory. It's just like it's one of those things, and it happened with a lot of movies in the park. Of just like you never feel Patrick Swayze coming back to get her more than when you do when there's like 400 people and you're all
cheering so hard.
Cheering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good, and then you're all just like singing as you pack up. You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Times.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies.
And I guess, yeah, iconic soundtrack is the other part of this movie. Like, there's the two main characters and then all of their associated characters, but like the third part of this story that, like, honestly, it would be nothing without the awesome soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, of course, you know, like the big numbers, but there's so many good songs.
There's so many.
Ugh.
It's just ridiculous. Oh, this movie.
So many good songs. But I think that's like, especially of like the 80s and 90s, like a lot. It'll be interesting to see like what other like classic rom-coms also have classic songs or soundtracks.
Yeah, like there's the classic song ones, but then there's the classic soundtrack ones. I think those are
and
different.
This is two, but this one is both.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like coming to mind, like the first thing is Pretty Woman is a classic song.
Yes. Yeah, but I can't think of any other songs that are in that movie.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And then, but other ones are classic soundtracks, like Grease, even though that's a musical, so that's harder. But
yeah, or like Save the Last Dance.
Yep.
Wedding Singer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Center Stage.
Oh yeah, totally Center Stage. Yeah. So many.
Yeah.
So many. And like,
I'm sure 10 Things.
Oh yeah, 10 Things. So I was like, oh, all of these are ones that are like kind of musical-y, but 10 Things isn't really, except for
10 Things is
that one scene.
It doesn't count as a musical, but
no, but it has
very iconic soundtrack.
Yes. Yeah, even aside from that big musical number.
Yeah.
Scene. Ugh. So great. Oh man, we're gonna have so much
fun
doing this
that?
podcast.
When are we gonna do this one?
I know.
Do that one soon.
I just want to do all of them right now. Yeah. So many tropes. Yeah, it'll be interesting as we like start building out our list of like what tropes are related and like what tropes are often found together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but I think there's going to be lots of overlap of like coming of age and bad boy kind of thing. Like that kind of makes sense. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, join us, please. Okay. Aside from cliches, although I'm sure we'll touch on more cliches because there's so many. Do you have any hot takes to share?
Okay. I do have a hot take to share, and it is a really hot take because this line is very important to the zeitgeist. It was rated like number 98 on best 100 lines of American movies or something. And all of the stuff, there's a song, there's like everything. It's obviously a huge deal.
Yeah.
But I gotta say,
she's sitting like against a wall.
It's not. She's sitting against a wall with a pillar.
It's not a corner. It's like it kind of looks like a corner in that scene, but when they zoom out and you see where it is, it's like in the middle of the room, just on the side. It's not a corner.
No. Yeah, it's on the side, and it's definitely like they wrote the line. And like,
there's not enough corners in this room.
At the scene, and then they're like the set dressers
shoot, we need a corner where their tables are.
And they're like, sure, this is a corner.
My hot take is way less spicy, but it's just the band, they pretend that they're playing, but there's not enough instruments and not enough synthesizers.
Nope.
But the song's so good that I don't really care.
Not at all. Yep.
There's so many really good parts of this movie. I think the one thing, and I think that this kind of came a bit from the trivia or like a little bit of Patrick Swayze talking about why he thinks this movie has endured for so long. And I think a huge part of it is like, it's not just Baby's story. Like Baby's not the only one who's growing up and figuring out who she is. Johnny is also.
He's not a manic pixie dream boy.
No, but he's also
character.
Yeah, he has character, and he also isn't just like, he doesn't know everything. Like, he's also just trying to figure out what to do with his life. And because of the age divide, like, I think it would be weird if he actually, like, he fakes that he has his shit together, but he doesn't. Like,
he does not.
He's really insecure about, like, being around so many, like, wealthy people and, like, not feeling like he has a place there, except for, like, when they need something from him. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his life going forward. He still, like, gets pressure from his family to, like, work as a tradesperson, even though, like, I think he was a really good dance teacher. Like,
yeah, he's a really good dance teacher, So this is a question, and I don't know enough about America or unions or the 60s, but they, like, when he talks about it, is like his dad can get him into a union, and she, like, seems excited, and then he says it's house painters, and then she's like, oh, that kind of sucks. And I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, like, I think her disappointment was
painters?
that I think her disappointment was that he wasn't excited about it.
Oh, okay.
That was my read on it. I don't know. Because
like, aren't unions, especially in the 60s, and now, depending on where you work, like, really good?
Yeah, I think especially in the 60s, like, if you could get a union job, which, like, it seems weird that this... Like, yeah, you'd be set. Like, he'd be able to buy a house and, like, they'd... Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, so his life would be sad because he'd be painting houses, but he would be financially
stable. Yeah. Yeah.
And probably, like, I guess, but then... Baby's dad would still look down on him because he painted houses.
Yeah.
He was financially stable.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because it's like a lower level trade. I don't know what trade her dad would be okay with him. Like, yeah. I think he, like, at the end of the movie, I think he would be okay with whatever. Because he grows a bit too. But I think, yeah, at the beginning of the movie, it was definitely like, of course you're going to marry a doctor or a lawyer. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's just, again, the whole class divide of, like, trade versus professional, even though, yeah,
and it's also, he's a bad boy, but he also cares so much about Penny, and also his cousin. Like, his cousin is awesome, and I think that he should have a sequel spin-off as well. He's great and hilarious.
No, yeah, the cousin's great, Penny's great, like,
which he's trying to teach Lisa how to dance at the end. I was like, let's do this story.
I know. Well, and also, like, even before he's actually trying to teach her how to dance, like, when she brings the watermelon to the staff party, like, he just instinctually teaches her how to dance. Like, that's what he does. And he's both, like, a good dancer, but also a really good teacher.
Yeah, when he's teaching her how to dance in that scene, he's like, he knows what to do. Like, he's a good dance teacher.
Yeah.
For not just the mambo.
No, exactly. Of anything. Yeah. Yeah, so I think, like, that's the one thing that from looking at just the cliches, you see, like, oh, it's this young girl who gets together with, like, a summer fling who's, like, a poor bad boy, like, who, like, who's older.
And the help.
Yeah, he's the help, for sure. Except that's so gross. And, and he's older and whatever, but it's, like, they're both just as, like, lost and don't know what to do with their life.
Yeah, and the whole thing of, even though he has these great relationships with Penny and his cousin.
Yeah.
At the end, he's like, you're the first person to ever stand up for me.
Yeah, because I think otherwise he's always been the protector. And and now she gets to play that role too. Like, it's a good twist. Ugh. Yeah.
Let's talk about the mom.
Oh my god.
Does she know everything, or does she know nothing? This is the question.
I think she knows more than she lets on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, but it's so unwritten, but it doesn't need to be written because it's Kelly Bishop and she's amazing.
Oh, she's amazing.
But yeah, like, I think she sees how happy her daughter is.
Yeah.
And, like, really gets why. And sees how, like, confident and also, like, I think her seeing her daughter stand up to her husband about this boy, like, really says a lot. Because I think she really trusts Baby's character. So, like, if Baby likes him, then... Yeah, and if Baby's willing to risk her family as much as she does for him, like, he must be a good guy. Like... Yeah. Yeah. I don't think she was there at the beginning. Like, I think that took a while, but... Yeah, and also, like, just seeing their chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah. They're good together.
Ugh.
But and then, like, thinking critically during the montages, and just, like, if being a mom who doesn't have anything to do except play golf or whatever in this country club, like, do you think that she has to notice that Baby's gone for most of the day, every day, and the way she dresses is changing. She's putting lipstick on. The way she moves her body is changing.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, no. I'm sure she noticed that something's happening. I think it was. I don't think she immediately realized it was Johnny. I think she probably thought it was the hotel guy.
The hotel guy.
The grandson. Yeah. Yeah. Which is, but I feel like hopefully she'd be happier that she's with Johnny than with the hotel guy, because that hotel guy is gross.
Yeah. It's one of those things, especially as a mom in the 60s, of, like, you're 19 and you're about to go to college, so I'm losing control over you anyway, and you're gonna have to settle down and be a wife eventually.
Yeah.
So maybe it's fine that you're gonna just have a fling, whether it's with hotel guy or not. Just like, this is the time that you're supposed to have a fling, and maybe that's what she did, you know, like.
Oh yeah, maybe like you might as well have a fling before you go to university to get your husband, right?
Yeah. Well, she's going to Mount
Holyoke, which is a girls' college. Yeah,
it's a girls' college. So
yeah, but I think there was a like equivalent, like men's.
Yeah, I'm sure there was.
Yeah,
but yeah, like it's more of like, this is the time that you're supposed to have a fling, so that you have sowed your oats and can be a good wife.
Well, and also if you have a fling and you get married instead of joining the Peace Corps, then I get to have grandkids sooner.
Yep. Also true.
Yeah. So, but no, she's great, and I think gets overshadowed a lot by the dad. But I mean, because
that's the part of the story.
Yeah, he has more plot purpose in the story for sure, but she's just as good. And then she gets a really good dance moment. Like they get a good little twirly.
They're so cute at the end.
So good.
Ugh.
Yeah, so many of our like things that we love are just from that final dance number. Even though there's so many more earlier, but it's just everything's so good. Lindsay has a question, which is, what is the Fountainhead about? Is it for douches? And I don't know
the main thing
about.
is when I first watched this movie, I have two very strong memories. One is we were watching it with my mom, and so she tried to fast forward through the sex scene, but it's so short that she just fast forwarded through like a scene of mountains, so that every time we watched it, me and my sister together, we'd be like, oh no, the sexy mountains. And then the other memory I have is when you don't know what this movie is about, he's like, read this book, and then I thought it was going to be about her discovering something about this book. Because I didn't know at all about what this movie was.
Right.
Which doesn't, like, that happens after she, like, dances with him the first time, which she has already gone to the staff house once, so I don't know. I wasn't very smart. I was like 12.
Well, yeah, exactly. So. You're not paying that much attention. No, like the Fountainhead is kind of known for like people who like the Fountainhead tend to be kind of douchey and classist and yeah.
That's kind of what I've gotten to in nowadays. And like nowadays, if that showed up, it would be like a clear red flag inside joke of like, this is a douche.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I think, in the 60s, the Fountainhead was relatively new. I don't know when it came out. Oh, it came out in the 40s, so, not that new, I guess.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, speaking of first time you watched it, how long did it take you to realize that an abortion was happening?
I don't know if it was the first time I watched it, but I definitely watched it with my mom, and, like, it was a thing that we talked about.
Okay.
Which, like, is an appropriate topic for, I probably was, like, 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, in vague things of, like, what was happening to her. Yeah. I remember it being, like, a reason to talk about, like, what is an abortion with my mom. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I...
But I knew. But I might have watched it.
Like, I definitely... Because they say she's knocked up and stuff a couple of times. Afterwards, so I think I understood that part, but I just have no like firm memory of like realizing it.
Yeah, and to be honest, it might have been like a little like I might have watched it and we just talked about that she was losing the baby, not how it came to be, and like she needed to see a doctor. Like the money was to see a doctor about her pregnancy, not specific. Yeah. I don't remember.
Me neither.
Because that was a long time ago. But
you didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah.
Until you grew up.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like also, like being in Canada in the 90s, like it was fine, whereas in America even Canada in the 60s, very illegal. So like, it was definitely later that I had that concept of like how illegal and dangerous what she tried to do, or what she did. What she needed to do was. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Which is your favorite montage?
Well, for inappropriate feelings, Hungry Eyes. Definitely.
Yeah.
But I also love the wipeout one, like the first one. Where she's like climbing the stairs and keeps changing outfits and like her... Yeah.
Yes. I think
that one I really liked.
Yeah. them, yeah, like dancing in the woods and in the water and stuff. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But yeah, the scene where, yeah, she dances across the bridge or whatever is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite. But the finale is just...
It's
just
to anything else.
Yeah, because it's so great. It's the perfect length. Like, it doesn't feel like it's dragging, even though it is, like, fairly long. I mean, it's just the song.
It wraps up all the storylines.
So many storylines just with, like, a little, like, a small scene.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Like, even Kellerman is happy.
I know.
Like, everything's great.
Yeah. So great. But yeah, I do really like the role reversal, which I guess is, like, a fun, like, structural trope of, like, when so she's having the dance lessons at the beginning and he's trying to, like, keep her focused, and then when they do the lover boy and, like, then she's trying to be the one who's like professional and focused. Yep. And then we get to talk about Lindsay's bit.
I love it so much. So we'll put it in the show notes, How I Met Your Mother. There is obviously, this movie is talked about and brought up in all sorts of
so much, yeah.
But there's How I Met Your Mother when Barney's telling people how he lost his virginity, and this is one of the ones that he pretends
really happened to him.
Is what happened, and they seamlessly put him, Neil Patrick Harris, in pretending to be Johnny.
Ugh.
They seamlessly put him in with Jennifer Grey, and it is incredible and amazing, and you're just like, wow, you're really ripped, Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, it's really great. Highly recommend it. Yep. So yeah, other parts of the big dance scene, well, I mean, it's so handy that she just happened to be wearing a super twirly dress.
I know, it worked out so well. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
The costume design in this is fantastic.
It's really good. Yeah.
The blonde woman who wears the blue polka dots all the time, I think she dances with the guy with the douchey fedora. I think that's that couple.
Yep.
She always has one of her bra straps hanging down. I'm like, please stop.
Well, bras in the 60s were real bad.
Oh no, but you can't even dance with that, like, with your arm.
Ugh, so annoying.
This is another trope I thought of that is a much less fun trope, which is, how often are we going to see BIPOC couples as, like, the one BIPOC couple?
Yeah, there's, like,
that are always paired together.
Yeah. Black people could, well, I mean, it was the 60s in the States, so
Black but it's not just
it's not just this movie. No, for sure. But yeah, like, there are some BIPOC characters. Obviously, they're all the help at the resort, and yeah, they only dance with each other. Yep. True fact. Good parts about the dance number, at the, like, on the stage just before things get really serious, he does this, like, the teeniest, tiniest little kiss on her nose.
Kiss on her nose.
And you just melt, and then you just keep melting. It's so great.
Yep.
Also, when did he have time to choreograph the dance number with the staff people?
I don't know, and this is a question I have a lot about the staff.
Yes.
Is they have this huge staff house, which seems strange because, like, Robbie and his douche bros are never there, but it would be the main staff house for everybody. Yeah. And they also have, like, huge cabins for them.
I think because it was the evening, like, there's different levels of staff. Like, the staff is also has different classes. So, like, the waiters are allowed to date the daughters of the guests. Yeah. Like, allowed, encouraged actively.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, so I think the other place, I don't know if it was, like, I guess it was a house. I thought at the beginning it was, like, Johnny's house, which is so weird that he, like, has his own weird house, but I guess he's, like, the star dancer.
Well, he has a cabin, but it's just, like, further off.
It's further off. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where, like, that was, but yeah, I'm assuming there has to be, like, because you don't want the help, like, socializing where the guests are.
Yeah, so I guess they just make it what they want it to be so that they spend their time there. But also, like, these help are, I assume, the maids and
it was weird.
Bellboys.
Bellboys and, like, kitchen hands and groundskeepers.
And, well, I guess it just seems that they have a lot of spare time.
They do have a lot of spare time, which is strange. Although,
and they're, like,
especially in the
when
evenings.
They're all in the evenings, but also, like, when Johnny and Robbie get into that fight outside, like, they're all there.
Yeah.
Just, like, hanging out.
The weird thing is that, like, they all seem to only have, like, one job. Whereas, like, I don't know, like, I guess when I was thinking about this place being fake, I also, like, I worked at a resort, which was not really, like, this level of resort. It was way more casual. But, like, it was, like, a fishing, like, recreational fishing resort in Australia. And, like, we were all basically, except for, like, the chef, like, the cook, and, like, one other person, we all just did everything. So, like, in the mornings, I worked in the shop, like, selling bait. Throughout the day, I did housekeeping. In the afternoons and evenings, I did food prep. Or, like, in the afternoons, I did food prep. In the evenings, I, like, either served dinner or worked in the bar. Yeah, like, every day, I had, like, 3 different jobs. Whereas this place, they seem to only have one job. And, like, some days I had, like, on days when we didn't have changeover, like, I had the middle of the day off. But, yeah, it was weird.
So there's that, and then, like, going back, like, the trying on wig things, like, Penny was doing it, and, like, why would Penny be doing that? She's a dancer.
Yeah.
What does she have to do with wigs?
Yeah, it was
like,
weird.
Where are all the other people?
Yeah, and, like, Johnny,
what are they doing?
Johnny doesn't have any other jobs. Like, he just teaches dance.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe he does more dance. He teaches more than she does because the women, like, the wives, want to take dance lessons.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But it seems like most of the time it would be, like, Johnny and Penny doing dance lessons for a couple.
With couples.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the logic of
very confusing.
what jobs everybody has is really weird. And, yeah, the staff definitely have, like, a lot of time and no time, depending on what the plot requires. Yep.
Yeah, that's another big thing is when they're talking about the other dancers and why it has to be Baby, and they're like, so-and-so works all day. She doesn't have time to learn the steps. And I'm like, but she's a dancer, so it would not take as long as it does to teach Baby.
Yeah, I don't know if any of them were dancers. Oh, here's the other thing, speaking of, like, weird dance plots. So, Johnny and Penny, or Baby, like, have a contract to go to some other resort and do one dance number, and that's the whole show? Like...
Yeah,
it's very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange.
I don't... Like, because when they do the dance, Johnny and Penny, then they, like, at the first night, then they, like, go teach people how to dance.
Yeah.
And, like, offer dance lessons. So, yeah, you would expect it to be something like that.
Either something like that or, like, a full show. Not just, like, one dance number that they drive some period of time away to do.
Yeah. And then they have a contract. And so... And it's also kind of strange that they... Like, if he's so busy, but also works in another hotel.
Yeah. The plot is weird, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know.
But it doesn't matter.
My only other major plot issue is, why are those watermelons so big? And what are they going to do with them?
Right? Like,
get up there.
One of those giant watermelons would be enough watermelon for 30 people.
For all of those people.
Yeah. Let alone 3.
And also, like, it's the middle of the night and they're all, like, dirty dancing and drunk. Like, oh, you know what goes good with this beer? A piece of watermelon.
I mean, it is refreshing, but they were so big.
They were so big.
And they were weird shaped. Like, I've seen big watermelons, but they're more, like, round. These were, like, long, super skinny ones.
Like, were they, like... 60s accurate watermelons? I don't
know. Well, now I want to know, like, were they actual watermelons or were they, like, prop ones that they, like, made to make them, like, absurdly large?
Yeah, nobody ever talks about that. And I didn't even think about it until I watched it this time. And I'm like, why are they so weird shaped and why are they so big?
Yeah.
And where do they go? And is there a knife there to cut them? Because they're going to get so juicy.
Oh my gosh.
And, like, ruin the table.
Yeah. Yeah, like, what, is there knives and plates and stuff? And, like...
Yeah.
Oh. But, you know, like, I could go with some late night watermelon snack. Like, you know, when you're hot and sweaty.
Like, it definitely.
Yeah.
It's just so strange.
So strange. Yep.
But an iconic line.
Indeed.
So it's fine.
Indeed. When I grew up, can I be one of the old ladies throwing off their stole? Except, like, a fake fur, not a real fur one.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love those ladies so much.
They're so great.
And the conductor guy, and he's just so happy.
Yeah.
I'm, like,
so happy.
Into it.
So happy.
Yeah.
And then it's, like, so cringy when Patrick Stewart lip syncs a little bit, but then he does this, like, adorable headbanging thing and, like, squints his eyes, and you're like, oh, never mind. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm in love with you.
You're fine. Yeah. I definitely, like, I like Patrick Stewart. I like Patrick Swayze in basically everything other than this. I just find him, like, too much.
Yeah.
Like he's trying too hard to be like too sexy, too charming, too whatever. But not in this movie. In this movie he's just perfect. And it's great. And it's great. It's so good.
It's so good. And it's just like surprisingly holds up. The like maybe because it was a period piece in the 80s, maybe, but there's also like there's definitely like class issues and stuff, but there's not a lot of like problematic
like the stuff that phrases. Is seen as no, it's true. Like the language is mostly fine except for like there's definitely the like slut shaming kind of stuff. Yeah. And like it's the like if a woman gets pregnant when she doesn't want to be, it's her fault. Her fault, yeah. But none of that is taken as like the movie saying that. It's the character saying that.
No, it's just the character when we already know he's a bad dude.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it sort of is able to get away with a lot because it's like a period piece in the 60s. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, but it's definitely like it's not one of the ones that you'd be ashamed to show.
No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would take some more like contextualizing of stuff, but yeah, not in terms of like I mean, it's not animated Peter Pan.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination. Okay.
Ooh, boy.
Okay. So, it's a movie. It's got a happily ever after because it's a rom-com, so of course it has a happily ever after. Is it like actually a happily ever after? What do you think? Do you think they stay together?
I don't think so. I don't think they stay together.
No, I don't think so. I feel like he like breaks up with her for her own good, like one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. They never really talk about what he does not in the summer.
Like he's gonna go
like
join
he
the
says
house
he doesn't
painting.
have. I guess so. Yeah. Like he doesn't have a job, so yeah, he's gonna go do that.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
And she's going to college. Like it's one of those things of if they lived in the same town or something.
Yeah.
Then maybe they could make it work, even with her father. But yeah, she's going to college.
Yeah. No.
I don't know if she's gonna go to the Peace Corps. I'm sure that she's gonna be very different in her life than she thought that she was going to be.
Yeah, and I think because of this experience, like, yeah, and like when like if they meet up, if they happen to be in the same town, like, because I don't even know like where she lives and where he lives when they're not at Kellerman's, but like
not at this place.
If they're in the same city, would they hook up? 100%.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I don't know. It's one of those like
I think.
Maybe, I don't think they would stay together after this summer, but would they get back together? Maybe.
I think, and I think that she's definitely going to be a better person than what she was. Like, if she hadn't had this experience, she would have joined the Peace Corps, and then her life, like, her eyes would have been opened with stuff, and, like, realizing that her life is very different and privileged than anybody. But it would probably be more of I'm very privileged because I live in America, as opposed to I'm very privileged even in America, you know what I mean? Like, so
and there's definitely
I think that this opened her eyes.
There's definitely a lot in this movie about like, oh well, like we'll send our leftover food to like starving people when like you can't just like send your leftovers across the world. Like that's not the solution. It's like more, and so I think she might end up with more awareness of like societal like systemic problems rather than like individual action problems. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I think she's better equipped to, like, actually get something more than just, like, there's poor people out of going in the Peace Corps.
Yeah, and I think, like, maybe she won't turn into a classic, well, she might get married and have kids and be that person, but she might not now. Like, I feel like she's...
Yeah, I don't know.
Definitely.
I think she would feel like she has more options now. Yeah, which, that's great, because she does.
Yep. Oh, I agree.
Good times.
That was good stuff. When we went to Comic-Con and saw Clark Gregg talk.
Oh, yep.
He talked about the big gun they gave him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're like, we want you to have a nickname for this gun. We want you to call it Baby. And he's just like, do you know who I'm married to? So then they had to change the name
of the gun because it was just like too much. Too
That was
much.
my take. Because just,
Yeah.
there's that. And then her dad is Joel Grey, who's obviously incredible, even though he's the reason Buffy died, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing, I want to know the story of, like, when does she start going by Frances?
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
Like,
Maybe at college,
Maybe right away.
Yeah, or maybe at college, like when she introduces herself to new people at college.
Herself is...
She goes by Frances, and, like, how long does it take her parents to call her Frances?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty soon. Like, I think she's going to college.
Yeah, like, because it was Labor Day
right
weekend,
away.
so yeah, she was basically going the next week.
About to go.
Oh.
Even though, like, this is the thing with America, again, is that some, like, school starts in August?
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know when she would have started
Is that
college.
just high school?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but maybe not in the 60s? I don't know. I'm confused.
I have no idea.
Americans,
Yeah, also, like, that sounds really stressful to be away until, like, the Sunday of Labor Day weekend and then have to go to
I
college,
know,
like,
and
the
then
next,
go to college?
like, move into the dorms.
2 days later?
Ugh.
Oh my
Maybe it's
God.
not that far, though. Maybe it's just, like, half an hour away.
Maybe. It's still
Still.
sounds like a lot.
Yeah, no thank you.
Like, does she have school supplies? Like, how long were they there?
Well, he wanted to come home before, like, they were gonna... Everybody went home Sunday, but he wanted to go home on the Friday to miss traffic.
No, I know, but how were they there all summer? Like, it doesn't really...
No, I think it was just a
we don't
couple
really talk about
weeks.
it. Okay, so she already has her school supplies.
I hope so, for her sake.
That's good. Because I'm very concerned.
Indeed.
about her
I
now.
know. Back to school shopping. It's very important. Okay, so instead of rating or ranking or some other kind of something, especially as we're building up our spreadsheet, we thought we would do a pie chart.
Pie.
Pie.
Like, Pashnik.
So, great. Yep. So, I mean, there's a lot going on in this movie. I don't know.
There is a
It's
lot
at
going
least,
on in this movie.
but it's at least 40% montages.
Oh, yeah. There are
Yeah.
so many montages in this movie.
So many. But they're all very necessary and important.
Yep.
And move the story forward.
They do. It is also 40% dance scenes to epic music.
Yes, or at least dance scenes and epic music, maybe. Yes.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Well, like,
Little bit
I don't
of
know.
both.
Do you count She's Like the Wind as epic music? Because that's, like,
Yes.
the only one. It's okay.
I
I
do.
do, too. I sing it a lot.
But there's songs where there's no dancing. There's not a lot of them.
There's not a lot of them,
Okay.
but there is.
Yeah, and then, you know, on the other side, it's like 10% a darker storyline than you really were expecting in your rom-com.
Yep.
But, you know, real life, I guess? Not really,
guess.
but
I
yeah.
don't know. It's, yeah. But 5% watermelon.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Have you seen the size of those watermelons? And then 3% country club assholes.
Yep.
Yeah.
2% daddy issues.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for a movie where it's like a growing up daughter and her father as a main character, there could have been way more daddy issues in this movie. So, you know, good job. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think that probably brings us to the end of the episode. Don't forget that you can rate or review our podcast wherever you get your podcast, and please do, because we're kind of new. You can find us on social media at Charts and Hearts Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and Charts and Hearts on Twitter, or our website, chartsandhearts.com. On our website, too, you can submit your suggestions for rom-coms and tropes for us to add to the list.
If you want a bit of Nature Finds a Way nostalgia for your June, you can check us out on Patreon, where we have a bonus episode coming out soon about Jurassic World, whatever it's called. Jurassic World 3. Jurassic World, the one with Laura Dern, it's back.
Jurassic World. More world.
More world.
Jurassic.
Jurassic World, the one with the feather dinosaurs. Anyway, that is coming soon, exclusively to our Patreon. We hope to have obviously some rom-coms coming up in there on our theme for the month, but when appropriate movies come, we will bring back Nature Finds a Way, because we still love to talk about biology, because we're still nerds. Don't forget.
Indeed. Don't forget. And we will be back here in 2 weeks with a similar setting and similar-ish movie with dancing, a main character wearing all black, but more angry dancing. Well, that's right, we're doing High School Musical 2.
Oh, yeah. Let us know what you thought about this, our very first episode of this podcast. And in the meantime, we don't have an outro yet. So,
Bye!
bye!